Good morning, boys and girls. My name is Mrs. Kayiran. I'm an art teacher. I used to teach in Irvine Unified for many, many years, and I'm a very dear friend of your teacher, Miss Collier. We are going to do an art lesson today, and you will need a couple of things before we begin. We're going to do a bird. Does it have to look like my bird? No. You can do your own rendition. Remember, there are no mistakes in art. Now you will need two papers actually. One for your drawing, whatever size, and then you need an extra one for practicing on. You will need a black felt tip marker if you have it. If you don't, then you can go ahead and use a pencil. But when you're drawing with pencil, you have to be careful that you draw very, very lightly. Otherwise, it makes dents in the paper and you can't erase very easily. So you'll either need a box of crayons or colored pencils for coloring later. Okay, so get your materials together and let's begin. Now the first thing you're going to do is, you should have a sharpener too if you're using colored pencils, is to start with some kind of curved line shape close to the top of your paper, like this. Now, does it look like this? No. And we don't use half-cracked eggs shapes ever for our birds. And you want to make sure that the head is about the size of your fist. So we're going to do a little zigzag in it, and then we are going to curve around, and instead of doing that up and down thing, we're going to create a shape, any kind of shape that you want. I made mine kind of dip. You may want yours a little more fancy. You decide. Then we're going to add a beak. Now, I will make sort of a medium-sized beak, and I do the whole shape. Did I do it like this? No. I want a bit of a curve to it, but it could be a long curve if you wanted. And then we have to put an extra line and the breathing hole in it. So you decide how long you want yours. Then you're going to make an extra line pretty close to the bottom and the little black breathing hole. That's how the bird breathes. Then for the eye, you will do at least, I would say, 3 circles and one of them colored in black. And then I would like you to make another shape touching that eye. Make any kind of shape you want on the bird's face. You can take a minute if you need to practice on your practice paper first before you do it on your good paper. That's okay. So this is a good time for you to look at the shapes where it's like building blocks, one shape after another, one line at a time. And just remember, if you're using pencil, draw very lightly. Now we're going to make the wings as if we're looking at the back of the bird. So I'm going to start with a long curved line like this and another one like this, but they're not quite touching. Then I will make a shape in the middle. And you see how I came down to a point? Now I'm going to do another one. Now let's say you were drawing in pen and that didn't work for you. It didn't work right away. I can always go back and add more shapes. You see, if I don't like something, I don't start all over. I just keep adding to it. And then you can add a few designs on it if you like. They don't have to be like mine, but whatever kinds of designs you want, zigzagging. Now we don't use any fast strokes, crisscrossing lines, scribbles. You know, if you wanted to do something like this, or something like this, or one feather at a time. You could do that. There's many, many possibilities. Okay, next we're going to do one more shape, any shape, a little bit sculpted. So it has to be pretty wide. It can't be long and skinny. Do you see it's pretty wide? Because this is where the tail is coming from. Remember, he's looking to the side, but we're doing the back of the bird. Then we are going to do the tail. Is it okay if the tail touches the bottom of our paper? That's actually a good thing. If it touches the bottom, then you're bleeding off the edge, which is, we say in art, a good composition. You don't want to do like this, and you don't want to do something long and narrow. All right, it's wide again, it comes out. From there, if you would like to, you can add extra lines. Some people will want to, some people will not. That's up to each artist. Some people will want to add extra lines. Again, that's up to the person drawing. You do not want to use any crisscrossing lines. So keep that in mind. Then, because we're looking at the bird from the back, but he's holding on to the branch, can the branch go through the bird? No. You start by touching the edge of your paper, and right in kind of the middle of the bird's body, you come across, probably kind of diagonal, you hop over and you go to the other side of your paper. Now, we have to add a second line. So start at the side of your paper, stop, hop over, and do you notice I got thinner and thinner as I was reaching towards the edge of the paper? So that's what you want to do, because you don't want the branch to look like a log. Now, if you'd like to add a couple more branches, that's up to you. I'm going to add 2 more here. And I think I'm going to add one here. And I'm going to add, oh gosh, another one here. So, do you have to add them where I did? No. You will add as many branches as you want. But notice they're all thicker towards the base and thinner as they go up. They can bleed off or touch the edges of your paper. And later, if you like, you can add another small bird in there. You can add flowers. And we're going to talk about leaves, flowers, those kinds of things. I think I'm going to add one more right here, skinny one. I don't want you to do any branches that look like a log, like that. And if you take your time when you're drawing your lines and go slowly, you'll have much more success. Now, I prefer that students draw with a black marker pen because as you can see it a lot better. But if all you have is a pencil, you go ahead and use the pencil, and then you use either a black crayon or a black colored pencil to outline over it before we begin to color. You're going to do some leaves now. Leaves come off tiny branches. They can go any direction. They do not have to be straight. And leaves are not triangles like this, like the Christmas tree. What you want to do, here's your middle vein. You want to make a shape that comes to a point. Now, it could, of course, and I can double this line here if I want to. What if I want 2 of them together? Then I have to, I hit the leaf, stop and hop over. Again, stop and hop over. Then, do I have to do the whole leaf? No. I could do a partial leaf hiding behind the first one. And you can do other shaped leaves. So here, I'm making a curved line here, and I decided I'm going to do a full heart. But I have to put the vein down the middle. I think I'll double that line. I like double lines. That's up to you again. I'll add a double line. Oops, I forgot to do this double line, meaning 2 lines together. So you have to decide now how many leaves and how many flowers. Maybe you don't want any flowers. That is completely up to you. Oh my gosh, let's try something totally fun. Let's try a cool leaf like this. Whoops, ran out of room. And that's all I can do because it goes behind my bird. I don't want to draw through my bird. And I'll put another one, a fun one down here. Whoops, I ran off the bottom of my paper. I'm going to do the other side. Oops, ran into my bird. Can I draw through it? No, I have to hop over. I can continue the vein here and here if I want to. Can an artist do what an artist wants? Yes, there are no mistakes. Now, if I want to, I can have some fun curving lines like this on my leaves, or I can do some fun designs. Do you have to? No. Every artist will make their own decisions. I think I'll make some lines on some, and I will make some designs on others. So do the variety and try to draw large. You want to fill the space of your entire paper. It's really important. Do I like suns? Oh, I don't mind suns, but suns don't grow out of the corner of your paper. We never do this on any art, okay? And the sun's rays are not sticks like that. So just erase that from your brain and don't do it on any art ever again. Could I add a little bit to my bird here, a few little feathers curving off? Sure. Could I have a half of a leaf touching the top of the paper? Of course. Now, how about a flower? I don't have much room for flowers here, but I could get one, maybe half of one, running off, or we call it bleeding off, the bottom of my paper. Can I draw through that branch? No. Have to hop over. Whoops, ran into the branch again. Hop over. Again, hop over. Wow. And then I'll have, half of a leaf here. Half of a petal of a flower. And then stop, hop over. And I have a flower. Can I put a couple designs on that flower? Sure. So you are going to be responsible for deciding if you want any designs. Do I have enough here now to go ahead and start coloring? I think so. So you have to decide if your drawing is really small in the middle, you need to draw a lot of leaves. Because mine was big, I didn't have that much room for leaves or flowers or whatever you want. Maybe you want a little butterfly or bumblebee in the background, but butterflies are not hot dogs with wings like this and TV antenna. If you are going to do a butterfly, let's make it look like a butterfly with wings that have wonderful shapes and long antennas and two wings together, and then you can put whatever designs. I'm kind of going fast, but you guys can go as slowly as you wish. Now, I just decided I wanted to do a few more designs I forgot on my bird's wings. So I will do this. You don't have to. Completely up to you. Maybe I'll even just, put lines in between. I try not to use too many straight lines. I have a tendency to like curves in my lines. So can you do that all the way down? Of course. Oh, I just decided I'm going to add more feathers underneath here. And let's see, is there anything else? I think maybe I want to add some berries. Okay. So now this is very important. You have to learn to use a colored pencil or crayon the correct way. You never do like this way, then this way, then this way, then this way. Maybe I should use a darker color. You're going this direction, then you start going this direction, then you start going this direction. It becomes very confused. So same thing with a crayon. If you have a crayon, you still use the same method. you color back and forth like this, one direction. And when you finish a section, you just go up from that, back and forth, back and forth. You don't have to press too hard on your crayon, but the darker you press, the more you press, the more brilliant your colors are. And I like to mix my colors. So let's say I decide to start here. Now, I did like that. Can I do like this? No. I have to color the same direction. And I'm trying not to go outside my lines, but if I do, I can use an eraser for colored pencil, but it doesn't usually work for crayon. Then I may, each time I use a color, I like to mix a second color with it. So the second color, whatever it is, I'm mixing a green on top of a blue here. That'll fill in any spaces that I forgot, and it changes the whole tone. I can do the same thing on both wings so that they're equal or symmetrical, or I can choose different colors. That's up to you. I would avoid browns, even for the branches. I would use a couple of greens. So let's say I'm using this very light green here. And I'm going to add another green or a turquoise. I tend to use cousins, colors that are close to each other, light blues and greens, or purples, cool colors, or warm colors like red, yellow, and orange together because they blend well together. If you use opposite colors like a yellow with a purple, a cool with a warm, then they turn to mud. So I want a bit of a bluish edge on my branch here, so I'm not going to color over that. You notice I'm still going back and forth, back and forth. Now what happens is your hands get tired, so you have to take a few shake breaks. So every once in a while, when you're taking your shake break, then you can go back. So then you're not coloring like this, where we can barely see the colors. Now in this case, we are not going to color the sky. But did you notice how many colors are on the leaves? I have a red and orange mix. I have a light green, a dark green, and a tiny bit of blue, all on one leaf. So I want you to know that the leaves don't have to be just green. I want you to use lots of colors. Look at how many colors on my bird. Blue mixed with some purples and pinks, red mixed with pink. For the beak, I mixed orange and yellow. But what if you want a black beak? Can you do that? Of course you can. Now because I did a dark color here, I did a light color around the eye, and then I kept going back and forth, whether it's crayon or colored pencil, you can mix. Crayon, however, is a little harder to control. When you are coloring with crayon, sometimes you have to go back over it a couple of times. And then when you're mixing another color with it, you might just do it lightly over the first one. And maybe you want that darker color to show on the edge underneath that. But you still have to go back and forth a lot to get the color to be solid. So, in order for this drawing to be complete, you must color everything that you drew. Again, if your bird is too small, then you have to do more background. If the bird is nice and big and touches the edges of your paper, then you can do less background. No mountains, no suns. Let's just pretend we're up in the tree with the bird and we see what's right in front of us. So have fun, students. I want you to do a good job, and Miss Collier is going to show me your pictures so that we can talk about it. But I'm sure that if you spend at least 1 hour on these drawings, you will have a gorgeous drawing. Okay, see you later, kids. Bye from Mrs. Kayiran.